Hello and welcome to day 73 of 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tomlins Nyback, and thank you for hanging in there. 73. I wonder if that has any significance. I didn't do any research, so who cares? Anyway, we're here talking about black issues, black life in America, the black situation, the black plight, black burden here in America, and we're putting that more in the context of slavery and how that dynamic plays out. More specifically, two ideas that have evolved in this project since its inception become clearer as time goes on. Now, of those two concepts, the first idea has two parts, and that one part is the first part of that is in terms of slavery. Does the slave mind the conditioning, feelings of vulnerability, submissiveness, ignorance to a degree, not being stupid, but not understanding the system in which a black person finds themselves? Does just that apathy, that kind of blindness get passed down from generation to generation? And also, does the white mind of entitlement, empowerment, um, expectation of privilege get passed down from generation to generation of white folks? They just feel they're deserving. You know, that's the first part that has evolved. The second part is my burden to have black folks be financially literate, understand banking, Federal Reserve, you know, not just your interest rate or, saving money and a lot of this, a lot of things that really may be important but aren't really working in our favor because we don't know how money works. We don't know that when we put our money into a bank, the bank is allowed to mysteriously multiply that money and lend it out to other banks. You know, a lot of tricky, shady stuff goes on, but they won't give us a loan. They won't help us out when we're in need. Forget our history and all that. We deserve to be uh, reciprocated that treatment. You know, but it doesn't happen. We need to understand why that happens. Agencies involved, industries and stuff like that. We would do, I think, as a community, blacks would do things a whole lot differently if they understood how their money's being tossed around, manipulated, and stuff behind the scenes. My whole financial life has changed dramatically since I started educating myself on the Federal Reserve, international banking, currency, things like that. So I'm very careful, much more understanding now. So those are the first two things. I'm here because I've been inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson, a good friend of his. We have a mutual friend that introduced us to his work. I don't know the man personally. I would love to meet him someday. But I've read three of his works that got me on track, and we referenced these works. And we got a whole year, so, months ago, first 60 days, we talked about broad issues and maybe focused on topics and subjects, and now we're finishing up our political action step series today, which has just been very informative. We're focusing in. We've talked about some of these issues before, but now we're focusing in, getting more myopic, more microscopic on these issues, teasing them out. It's very important. So um, that's how I know him. Look up his videos, Dr. Claude Anderson. He's much more articulate and forceful about this. But anyway, I read 3 of his books, and he connects all this to slavery and how blacks are behaving today, how whites are behaving, and other groups competing with us and things like that. It's fascinating to hear him say it because it's something that I felt, but I didn't know how to articulate what was starting to happen to me as I'm feeling like I'm trying. It's like the women with the glass ceiling, unable to penetrate. I only go so far, and in my life, I've been on the planet for a few decades. I feel like I can only go so far, and then the society just lets me do this horizontal thing. They're content with that, but when I'm trying to move up and break out, boy, there's all kinds of conditions and organizations and people after me. I start to feel paranoid, and it's crazy. And he articulates it. First book I read was a Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. I love coming out of that book. I didn't put that book down once I started reading it. Next book, Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Economic Power and Justice for Us Folks. And finally, A National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. Excellent work. Just a little disclaimer is that all these works are more than a decade old, but the message is timeless. Change is slow, but if we can just be deliberate, over time, we can have our breakthrough. And occasionally we'll take a fictional look at Black life in America, slave life anyway. Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe's work, and we check in on Old Tom every once in a while to see how he's getting along and being a slave in America. He had a great start, great white family in Kentucky, and he had a lot of privilege, status, and stuff like that, but now he's been sold, so some of the drama is coming in to his life. So we'll check on him maybe after this series. Here, hashtag us two, hashtag USTOO for the Black women are gathering there, talking and chatting it up. I'm not a big social online guy, so I only check in there once in a while just to look. But it's a good place. If you are a social media person, please go there, interact with them. Also look up Black Enough, BLAGGENUF is another place to check out more. It's like a Black Facebook, and I'm sure it's not the only one in the in the cloud, but there's plenty of places to go. Those are just the 2 I'm much more familiar with. For Dr. Claude Anderson, you got the YouTube videos, and you can find him at powernomics.com and the Heritage Institute. You can check him out. I'm trying to hold on to this video. If you see the lights dimming at this particular time, we're having a major blizzard right now. So I'm trying to get this in before we lose power, which would be awesome. I haven't lost power outage in years. That'd be pretty exciting, actually. It would make the day a little boring. Glad I play music. So anyway, that's what we're going through right now. So if you see the lights flickering, I'm not doing the Halloween thing yet. We got a couple months to brainstorm some creative Halloween stuff, but there's a pretty serious snowstorm going on outside, and power is being challenged at the moment. Oh, so in this last day, he brings up a topic that I think I put this in the notes too. He brings up the topic. He gets on it every once in a while. It comes out in his videos as well. He puts this political action step last, I actually think it should be first. It's a necessary component to all the action steps we've talked about, and that is group accountability. Black folks hate telling each other something, and we know why black folks hate doing that, because you're going to get the backlash and the mouth. No matter how right we can be on the subject, whether it's your children, my children, I don't have any, but we're just talking here. My work habits, we don't tell each other anything because we're going to get the mouth and lipping and fighting and whatnot. That's a big problem for these past. This is day 12 of trying to talk about coming together in unity, coming together to try to have this united front in front of white folks, and we can't even ask a person to turn their damn radio down because they think the whole world wants to hear that. Any kind of music. I listen to metal, rock and roll, and stuff like that. And I had my heyday. I'm going through something now. I'll tell you a little story. I play guitar, and I'm not as aggressive with it anymore as I used to be. But, I in my years, whenever I've had the space, I've had amplifiers and I'm rocking out, or whether I'm playing some heavy metal or something like that, is I've got it cranked up to 11 and whatnot, and I'm rocking out and not caring about the community, time of night, anything like that. And so I went through that, right? I'm sure there's some people out there just hate me because I'm so loud and stuff. Wouldn't you know, I got this, I worked hard to try to situate myself to be in this space, by myself, to make videos, walk around naked if I want, and all this. And I just so happened to get this next door neighbor, can't sing worth a damn, loud as hell, playing his guitar and keyboards and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I cringe every time I hear it. But that's the payback. What went around, none came around. And I don't say nothing because I know that's what God's doing. You remember when? All right, let's get back on topic here. Oh, but black folks, I tell you, we got to, that would be a breakthrough. If you could tell that brother or sister that you ain't into that music and you would like to please turn it down without expecting the backlash, the negative feedback, that'd be so much a breakthrough for black folks. I'm in live in a state where marijuana is legal. I don't smoke it or use it. Wish you could tell these people, please don't be, please go downwind with that stuff out there in public, which is illegal to do it in public. But go somewhere with that, please. Uh, but black folks just want to do their own thing, be left the hell alone, and be right doing it. Damn everybody else, I got a little bit of that in me too, but I try to be sensitive of what's going on around me. It just that's some issues we got to get over, but it's going to be a necessary thing. If we're not holding each other accountable, and we don't have any group norms, we're not going to make it. Now, if you notice other groups, competing with us, Hispanics, um, other ethnic groups have codes. It's whether it's they have their barriers with language and music can be a part of that, things like that. But you can tell there's a code among them. There's a way that they behave. There's a way that they carry themselves um, in a way that secures their validity as a group, as a people. It distinguishes them. You know, blacks need more than uh, a lack of discipline as an indicator of group behavior. We have a lot of negativity associated with us. You know, I, I'll give you another example. I used to be into drugs a whole lot. When I want drugs, where do I go? What do I need to look for? And I used to drive trucks over the road. And when I'm strung out and needing a fix or something on the road, any city, just go to the black neighborhood and you get what you need. You know, that's the character, that characterizes uh, black community, black unity. That it's a good place for negativity. It's dangerous and there's risk involved and there's drugs. Sad to say. So this need for blacks to practice some unity, group norms, positive stuff is just essential. Uh, oh boy, I hate to mention this, but this Jesse Smollett and his behavior. Um, R. Kelly is revisiting his demons. These things should not be so prevalent, so normative in black life. But it is. So we got to overcome that. We shall overcome. The white folks, competing groups, uh, other organizations using us to forward their message. It's not so much the problem as the black folks keep hamstringing themselves and putting themselves out there. So we need a code of conduct, group accountability. He puts up. Uh, he includes Hayward Shepherd in here. And just real quick, Hayward Shepherd was the emancipated black man, former slave, who ratted on John Brown as they were going after Harper's Ferry and stuff. That kind of behavior is inappropriate to, to put a black group at risk if the black group's doing something positive. You know, um, look out for Samboism. We'll talk about Sambo more uh, ex- explicitly, clearly, when he comes up in Uncle Tom's Cabin. But he's the black man who's just given a hard time. He's a black man who whip another black man. There's before the Civil War, I think it was upwards of 3,000 blacks owned slaves. That's how normative slavery became. That now blacks once they got into their position, started engaging in that behavior as slave masters. No sense, man. You know, if there's a class, there's two classes of people I'm finding. You know, there's that class of people that just want people working for them, and they want to run them into the ground. They have no consciousness about it. They don't care. Their creature comfort is more important than seeing people live and flourish. And then there's another class of people who'll do the same thing, um, have people working under them, but they have a sense of consciousness. They have a sense of looking out for that group, those other people. Other people just want to see the world burn. Remember hearing that in one of those Batman movies? Sad, this human condition. So group code of conducts, group behaviors in a positive way, pointing us in a positive direction is extremely important in seeing blacks go forward. So he wraps this up. I got 3 points to talk about in the conclusion of these past few days that we've been here talking about political action steps. First point is, remember, politics is a competition for wealth and resources. It's not about so much doing right by a group of people. It is politics is it's the touchstone of where people get served, and through whatever means, manipulation, use of media, charismatic leadership, whatever, politics is the way these groups get what they need. Black people aren't getting what they need because we're not holding people accountable, and we're settling for symbols instead of tangible assets for us. You know, but if we just stop and pause and look, you know, the Hispanics in their unity, you know, they got DACA, Dream Acts, all kinds of favors and things coming out for that group. Think of any group of people that benefit politically. You know, it's not just they're not just getting symbols of lip service. They're getting tangible things with which they compete and further push blacks out of the picture with. So politics, you know, when a group gets their leader up there in that position, boom, that group, you're going to see that group, they get some relief from any type of pressure. Find some success. Women going to be prominent in 2020. I think because our present president screwed up so bad and continues to do so, it's just laid the landscape open and primed for a female to get in position 2020 and vice president. I think they've got that much momentum. We're going to see 2 females on a ticket, on maybe multiple tickets. We're going to see 2 females, female president, female vice president, because one of our top guys, billionaires, has just blown it too much. And then you're going to see, women getting their say, getting their piece of that action. 2020. Back to black folks. We got to keep black issues black, and we must be unashamed and unafraid to get our needs met. I'm ashamed to say no. This white dude at work that I tolerate him. Work is work. It's where my work now that I'm getting some financial literacy, this back-breaking work that I'm doing is to get assets. It's no longer a job to keep a roof over my head and stuff, paycheck to paycheck. It's now building a pool for assets now. But the white guy is not very disciplined. Asked to use a piece of my equipment. I had to tell him no, because he does not. He's irresponsible with resources. I told him no. Boy, that would jam me up so much in the past. Telling a white person no. Whoa. They came off just as easy, so easily. Might be part of the work here. Part of how I know he treats equipment. Yeah. It was interesting. Like I park trailers at this place, and I'm usually driving the truck that does the work and stuff. And he was out there last night messing with it. I got back in the truck, everything it just didn't feel right. And the engine was running all rough and stuff. Man, had it for like 20 minutes. Okay, we need to keep black issues black. Let's have the argument, get alienated, whatever, and be black. Period. Um, hopefully I can articulate this. I've been in too many situations, communities, among men. I've seen men come into rehab facilities and stuff, and all of a sudden they don't eat pork, and they've changed their religion. When I was out there doing drugs with them, they ate anything that came across the plate that was free. But then they, once they get into some place, all of a sudden they've changed their religion and they don't eat pork and stuff like that. But it's a stomach. They do it because of what tastes good. So, and I see these people at these facilities fall for these acts, and I just want to pull my hair out. Yeah, if I had a choice between fried chicken and pork, I'd choose fried chicken too. But I wouldn't be claiming I'm suddenly drafted into some religion and don't eat pork. And it's very disgusting to see black people do that. I'm not lending support to any black person who's messing around with dietary requirements all of a sudden. Those kind of things, anything that's already exists, I'm not going to support anyone trying to get support on those issues in that way. Whatever's going on with other religions, let them have that. And remember, black folks, anything connected with Africa, other religions, all that stuff's been conditioned out of us. Even our strong, the black connection with Christianity, even all that is very, some of that's artificial as well. There's a conditioning there, and we need to sift through properly so we're thinking our own way about God, things like that. And I'm not even talking about God in that sense. Well, I don't want to be associated with black people doing stupid stuff, dietary requirements, all of a sudden. Now me, I don't drink. I told you about my drug history and all that. I don't drink or mess with any drugs for obvious reasons because I'll destroy my life, right? Because it's not suddenly because I had this relationship with God or anything like that. It's a medical condition that prevents me wisely from imbibing, you know. So be careful, black folks, about this piety that you suddenly develop when you get your life cleaned up. I'm not supporting any folks like that. I don't like that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, especially black men indulge in. I don't care who you are. You don't impress me. When I seen you, we were smoking crack together, and then you want to come in a rehab or someplace, and you don't eat pork, and everybody's got to jump over, go through hoops to get you some fried chicken. Disgusting. Disgusting. Shame on you. So that's day 73. I wish I could have finished on a brighter note. But that's the problem with group norms, right? You know, I, forgive me for not stepping to that brother and saying, stop faking it. Stop wasting everybody's time with your fake piety. That would have been an example of getting blacks organized properly in some real group norms. You know, the first thing we want to mess with is some dietary requirement or stomach. Okay, that's the end of the piece. I'm Pamela's not back. Thanks for hanging out with me on day 73 of 365 days towards racial change. We'll see you tomorrow.